Hi guys, today we're going to do a little bit of a vlog on grooming. So before we start, the reasons that you groom, I believe firstly to spend some time with your horse. Secondly, when you do groom, you have a look over them, you kind of get to know their bodies. So if your horse suddenly has a puffy back leg, then you'll know about it if you're grooming them daily. And then thirdly, in terms of stabled horses, you know, especially if you're riding your horses, if you don't groom them regularly and dust and grime get stuck under your girth or under your bridle or under your saddle pad, it's going to cause issues. And it also makes your gear not last very long. Hi guys, today we're going to do a little bit of a vlog on grooming. So before we start, the reasons that you groom, I believe firstly to spend some time with your horse. Secondly, when you do groom, you have a look over them, you kind of get to know their bodies. So if your horse suddenly has a puffy back leg, then you'll know about it if you're grooming them daily. And then thirdly, in terms of stabled horses, you know, especially if you're riding your horses, if you don't groom them regularly and dust and grime get stuck under your girth or under your bridle or under your saddle pad, it's going to cause issues. And it also makes your gear not last very long. So that would be the three main reasons why you would groom. If you've got a horse that lives outside, you need to be careful because obviously grooming removes oils out of their skin. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. So at the moment I'm using the Alan Davies grooming kit. Absolutely love it. Completely worth the money I spent on it. I am ridiculously happy with this. So let's have a quick run through the brushes. The first one is the hoof pick. I find this hoof pick, the brush itself, not quite big enough and quite hard, but the fact that this is quite sturdy, I find all my hoof picks tend to break here, and this one hasn't, so kudos. Then the curry comb, it looks like any other curry comb. The first time I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, it's so hard, because it's very hard on the outside, but the rubber curry on the inside is exceptionally soft. I mean, I've got a horse who permanently tries to kill me when I groom him, and he absolutely loves this. Then you've got Mr. Flicky, which is the equivalent of a dandy brush in this kit, and the idea of this is just to remove mud, excess dust, things like that off your horse's coat. Then you've got your polisher, which is equivalent to your body brush in a normal kit. You can use these in one of two ways. You can either just brush with the coat or you can brush in circular motions. I'll show you both. And then you've got the all-purpose brush. Now, I used to always use a metal curry comb to clean my brushes, and since I bought the Alan Davies kit, I've been using this guy to clean my brushes and my numbers and my blankets and everything. And this is much friendlier on your brushes. It makes your brushes last much longer. Then we have the quarter marking brush, and as you can see, it's the dirty one. It's the one I like the most. I tend to use this not just for quarter markings, but in general. And then you also get a little face brush, which has got exactly the same finish. It's nice and small, it's nice and soft. The horses tend to love this. And then my absolute favorite part of this kit is this polisher brush. It's got a really soft inside and it's got the bristles on the outside, which means you still keep the hair direction. And I tend to use this along with a coat shine after I've used all the other brushes, just to really bring out a shine and give them a proper polish. And then when I bought my Alan Davies kit, it didn't come with a main coat, so I use the KB I think it's 95 brushes. These are antibacterial brushes, and I always use it with a mane and tail conditioner to make sure that I don't break his tail as much as possible. Right, so let's go have a look. Alright, so the first brush I'm going to use is Mr. Flicky, and you literally just use it to flick off excess dust. Now this horse has just been washed, so you'll see literally nothing coming off. But I find using a brush like this just helps you get all the grump and grind out the bottom. And you'll notice that he's not even batting an eyelid He's actually quite a sensitive horse. Normally he tries to chop my head off if I brush him with a dandy brush, but we look pretty good. Right, so now I'm going to use to his back. Flick it all on my face, why don't I? And you'll notice that I go with the hair and quite a strong downward flick. These brushes, as far as I understand, was designed to really get into the bottom of the coat and pull the dust out, which makes your life a lot easier. Alright, I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, the next brush I'm going to use is my curry comb. I like to use it in circular motions. You'll notice here on his neck there's a few scabs coming off. He actually had quite a bad allergic reaction a while ago. So we're trying to just get all the dead slough skin off. With a curry comb I don't go down their legs because all of this is quite bony. The skin is quite thin over here. There's not a lot of muscle cover. So I just don't as a rule. When you do go on the sensitive parts, just go gently. And sometimes even if you do go gently, you're going to get a nip. You tend to have to know your horse. So you'll notice that I whack my curry comb. You can whack it on your leg. I like the stable wall, just to clean out all the dust that it has accumulated so that you're not working it straight back into their coats. And you'll notice even though he had a wash today, there's quite a lot of hair coming off. And I'm quite lucky with this brush. He's not normally a happy groomer, but he seems to like these brushes. Alright, so I'm going to quickly do the other side and then I'll get back to you guys. So next up is the polisher brush, and I'm going to use it with the general cleaning brush. It depends on which hand you're most comfortable with. I'm a righty, so I tend to put brushes on my right hand. And you can either just brush with the hair like that, or what I find works nicely is if you start going in a slightly, like almost curry comb direction, and it just helps you get the last little bits of hair out. It just helps you get the last dust out, and then every couple of circles you just clean it and then carry on. And then once you've done the whole horse like that, then you can flick it flat, and you'll see it brings out a huge copper shine on these horses. I'm absolutely in love with this suit. I cannot say it enough. And again, you'll notice that I go over sensitive areas and he doesn't bat an eyelid. You know, this is a horse that normally tries to go for you when you curry comb him. He has got, I think it's because of the red pigment in his skin. I know bays normally aren't that sensitive, but he can be. He's actually learned to like this. Right. I tend to groom them like little chunks at a time and then go over the whole body. I'm a little ADHD, so I tend to forget where I've done and where I haven't done. So for me to just do like a section at a time just seems to work better for my brain. But I mean, you can do this any way you feel comfortable with. There we go. One side done. You see this actually goes really, really quickly. Now the other side. Right, so I'm quickly going to show you how I use a hoof pick. When I pick up a horse's foot, I always try and do it as safely as possible. So when I pick up the front foot, the front leg's not going to go to the back. The front leg is going to go out the front. So when I hold it, I'm going to hold the leg at the back. So if the horse decides to move its leg, it's going to move the leg forward and not get my arm caught in the way. So I run my hand down the back. Luckily Danny's quite well schooled. Little squeeze, and he picks it up. So what I'm going to do now is, I firmly believe you do not pick a hoof up. There's so much that you can catch in here that can damage. Your V runs down there. So I always clean a foot down like that. And I always try and clean it until I can see what I'm looking at. And you'll see, because he's been in the stable for a while, this actually brushes away quite quickly. And you can just brush in there, which is a lot safer than trying to hoof pick in there where you can't always see. Now if you've got a stone stuck, or if you've got a very muddy season and you have to get in there and you can see where you're going, then it's fine to go up, because sometimes it helps just clipping it up. But I definitely wouldn't go up if I can't exactly see where I need to be going. So that's the front foot. Again, if he moves his foot, the foot's going that way, my arm's not in the way. Now for the back feet, you've got the opposite problem. The back feet goes to the back. So if you run your hand down the back and your horse decides to kick, they can take your entire arm off. Danny's decided he wants to go hide in the corner. Let's see if we can walk him forward a bit. Okay. Okay. I run my hand down the front of the leg, and you'll see he's quite nice about it. He picks up his foot easily. If you have to, you can do that. It still gives you the opportunity that if he kicks out, the arm's not in the way. Right. So same thing. If he kicks out to the back, my arm is completely out the way. Same thing as with the front foot. I'm not going to go up. I'm going to hoof pick down until I can see what I'm working with. Luckily, he's been standing in the stable. We're currently in a bit of a dry season, and we're not on a very stony ground, so I'm not too worried about that. I don't just chuck a foot down. I generally try and put them down. I just feel if he's been nice enough to give me his foot, I can give it back. Okay, so next up is what Alan Davies calls the quarter mark brush. And again, I'm going to use the all-purpose brush to keep them nice and clean. And with this brush, it's literally just the start of a polish. So you literally just go with the hair, and you'll see very little is currently coming out, because the other brushes did their job quite well. Now this is called the quarter mark brush, and I'll show you why in just a second. Please note that my quarter markings are not great. I don't advocate for being a showing rider at all. But what I find really awesome about this brush is that if you do quarter marks, you don't have to dampen the skin down. So say for example you wanted to do shark teeth. And then the famous Vellegro V. There you go. So you can do quarter markings without needing too much quarter marking spray. And I suppose if you do quite a bit of practice, it look much better than mine. But again, I'm a dressage rider, so not the be all and end all. But as you can see, this brush really does bring out an awesome shine in them. It takes away the last little bits of dust. Already I'm going for the show. So second last brush we're going to use on the set is the little face brush. You just get Danny hiding out from under the corner. Good boy. So I love this brush because it's so small. You can really get into all the nooks and crannies. And it's really soft. So if you've got a horse like this who's a little bit sensitive, a little bit iffy, they tend to not mind too much. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to find a horse that wouldn't like this. But so far, like I say, I sing this brush praises. I am exceptionally happy with him. And even do the tops of his noses. Okay, the last brush we're going to use is the polishing brush. And I'm going to use it with the coat conditioner. You've got a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can either spray the coat conditioner straight onto their body, or you can spray it onto the brush. Now these coat conditioners are pretty cool The previous sprays, you had to spray and release and spray and release. With this spray bottle, you can spray it, you squeeze, 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 it keeps on coming out. You can even turn it upside down and it still keeps on coming out. So kudos to Carr, Martin and Dave for these. These are amazing. Now I'm a righty, so I struggle with this idea because I need my right hand to do the spraying. So we're going to see how this goes. Right, so I'm quite fortunate. I have a horse who will just very calmly, quietly stand and allow me to just douse him all in spray. Right, and then I take my polisher brush and I literally just brush along the hair. And this absolutely just brings out that nice quiet shine. The coat conditioner for me is more a mental thing than anything else. This horse can get quite dry, especially in winter when we've clipped him. So the coat conditioner, I like it because it's both a coat shine and a coat conditioner. And it really helps me maintain his coat and keep this red-brown colour even when he's clipped and he goes a little bit nasty. So right, there we go, one very clean pony. So the last thing I always groom is my horse's tail. In South Africa, Western Cape, I'm not quite sure, Gauteng as well, they go out most of the day. We're very, very fortunate. You don't often have horses who stand in all day. So I'm always quite careful in brushing their tails, which is why I absolutely love the Carr, Martin and Dave conditioner, because it cleans it enough for me to be able to get a brush through without breaking his hair. He doesn't have a big thick tail. He's got quite a long tail at the top, which I'm very glad for. I'll have to chop a little bit off, it's getting a bit stringy. But anyway, let's have a look. So, these spray bottles are pretty cool. You can turn it upside down and it still keeps going. Ain't that awesome? And of course it will prove me wrong. There we go. Right, so when I brush the tail, luckily this horse has just been washed, so his tail's nice and clean and conditioned. I generally like to start at the bottom. I'll put some mane and tail conditioner in. And then you brush through gently, finding any knots. Like I say, I'm quite fortunate right about now, there's not many of them. And there we go. One neat, clean pony, ready for a show tomorrow.